What's up, everybody? Paul here from the Hoops Crew, and it is the Paul James Show, our Thursday night preview episode.
It's good to see you again.
I'm back. Thank you, everyone, for having been bearing with me in the last few days while I was away. Family business on Monday night kind of cut the show off early, but it's good to see so many of you packing out the chat already tonight. Bear with me. I've got a horrible case of the hiccups that have not passed for the last half hour, so that'll keep us all entertained. Looking forward to getting into it. And massive shout out to, that was a little clip from Lincoln Park when they returned to stage at beginning of last or middle of last year. I'm buying tickets this coming week, and I'm very, very excited to do so. But very keen to chat to all of you as well. So massive shout out to Roaming, who's in the chat. Jackie, Shadoo's jumped on. Mike Shinoda, the reference there, very nice. Anyone else in the chat that's planning on buying Lincoln Park tickets next week? I want to hear from you. But yeah, we got Shadoo, we got Roaming, we got Jackie, we got Mark here. Ben is talking shit. And you know what they say about people who talk shit? I'll knock his lights out. After I deal with Chris Fagan, of course. For anyone who's new, you got no idea what's going on there. And to everyone else who pops in over the course of the night, very much looking forward to, there we go. Bussy's popped in as well. Looking forward to chatting to all of you over the course of tonight. I want to make sure I take some time as we go to kind of acknowledge the AFLW. The season has started tonight. That game between Carlton and Collingwood is being played as we speak. And of course, whilst we are... Lucas is present. Whilst we're, of course, kind of free of the men's game for the night, which is a refreshing change on a Thursday night when we have this, we do have the women's game on, and please make sure you're keeping a close eye on what's going on there between Carlton and Collingwood. We certainly want to see the women's game continue to grow. So let's kind of get into proceedings a little bit here. We've got some news. We're going to go through match selection. We're going to preview the Cats and the Swans game this weekend. Jackie's just dropped a Yeah, the Girls, and also awesome podcast. So please make sure to go check out Yeah, the Girls and all the work that's being done there by the club to support the women's game and especially the Geelong team. I did, Shadoo, because I just saw you, I saw you just pop in the Discord. Yes, Razor Ray Chamberlain has returned to umpiring and is umpiring this game tonight. He's umpiring the women's game this season, which I think is awesome. Obviously, he's very experienced. Is going to offer some really great things for the up-and-coming umpires through that arm of the game, and hopefully that extends to greater experience across the men's as well, that we can get better quality umpires across the board. But beyond talking about the other games of the round, both men's and women's, we'll also do our player spotlight, where we're going to talk about Sam de Koning. It's Q&A, game of the show, and shout out for the behind the play people. Make sure, go check out the Razor Ray Chamberlain episode, and also a whole bunch of our AFLW girls that have been on the show over the course of the last few years as well. It's been awesome to have them on board. And Ben is going to pull his finger out of his ass, start harassing the club a little bit harder, and we're going to get more of the girls as well as the men on the show in the future. Everyone, give him a stoke up in the chat, please. Lots of hostility towards Ben and his genuine laziness. Brendan has popped in, possibly with Bianca and Declan as well, but they're dropping some turtles emojis. Go Time AFL is here. Amy's popped up. We need a corporate box emoji. We want Jed. Jed Roaming. Jed Buse has been on the show. I had Jed Buse on a couple of years back. So go check out that interview on the YouTube channel. Also on the Behind the Play podcast feed. Go check that one out. Jed Buse was on the show. All right, let's kind of get into things here. Please, if you're enjoying what you've seen so far or enjoy what you see tonight, we want him back. That's fair. I can appreciate that. If you like what you're seeing tonight, please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the Hoops Crew on YouTube, share the word with all of your friends and family, get the word out there about the content that we are making, whether it's the Paul James Show, post-game live, the Chaps Chat Cats, and a whole bunch more. There's lots of awesome stuff that we're producing here, so please make sure to subscribe and go and check it out. Use that live chat. If you're there watching live right now, bombard the chat with your thoughts. No spam. But bombard the chat with your thoughts about all of the stuff that we discussed tonight. And if you're watching after the fact, don't hesitate to share your thoughts there as well. We're keen to hear what you've got to say. All right. And the Geelong Zone. So make sure Lucas, the Geelong Zone, that's his channel he's building up. Please make sure, if you haven't already done so, go check out what Lucas is working on as well. Brendan says, get George Stevens on. Wholeheartedly agree. Steve Hocking was on the show, still working on Chris Scott. Ben, you've got a direct line to Steve Hocking off the back of what we did with Behind the Play the other year. Go to Hock, reach out and go, hey, your media department's screwing us. Help us get around that loop, around them, please, so we can actually start chatting to the players. It's not hard. It's not that hard. Anyway, so make sure to follow the Hoops Crew, check out the Patreon and all the things. I'll plug all of that over the course of the night. Massive shout out, and we're talking about the Vellas here. Shout out to Bianca, who won the large pizza from Shannon Pizza this past weekend off the back of Post Game Live. They are amazing as always. And it's been, yours truly. I will be hosting Post Game Live this weekend, so I'm looking forward to chatting to the Vellas and I don't know where in transit Ethan's going to be when it comes to his travels, and everyone else who pops in over the course of the night. Lucas, of course, the Dark Lord himself, will win by 120 points, and he'll still be finding something to complain about. Looking forward to chatting to all of you over the course of the night. Now, let's kick things off tonight. Ben says, heaven help us. This is going to be the highest rating post-game live you've seen all year, my friend. Let's get into some news, though. Ray Card, a former Geelong Cargie Greaves medalist, 1983, has been sentenced to 9 years of jail after a crash that has killed his partner and seriously injured another woman. Obviously, massive condolences to the families involved. But former Geelong VFL player has been sentenced over a drunken clash that killed his partner and left a young woman with permanent injuries. Raymond Card, 68, was handed a 9-year sentence with non-parole period of 4 years in the Geelong Magistrates Court over the 2024 crash that claimed the life of his partner, Mandy McDonald. Again, it's like awful news. Condolences to the McDonald family, and I won't read too much more. It seems he was 4 times over the legal blood alcohol limit. So just another reminder about drinking and driving, everyone. Please don't. Next up, and I've recorded a video. And Ben, if he's not going to send some emails to Stephen Hocking, maybe he can make a thumbnail for me. I've ranted and raved a little bit already, and there's a video that we're going to post tomorrow, chock full of cussing. It really got me in a tizzy here. So I'm not going to talk about it in great depth tonight, and I'll let you check out the video when it goes live tomorrow. The AFL has denied Geelong the opportunity, no matter who the opponent is, to host a home final during this final series, and it's bullshit. Now, don't get me wrong, because I'm doing this in a much calmer state, I guess I would say now, than what I was yesterday morning when the steam was billowing out the ears a little bit. I'd had some time and dialed a few things up. As an MCC member, Ben talks about my corporate seats and my fancy, they fly me over in first class and all that sort of stuff. I'm an MCC member, thoroughly enjoy it, and I think Geelong are currently, and I've seen this sentiment a little bit. I think Geelong actually is better suited to playing the MCG right now than they are GMHBA. And so I guess in terms of a 2025 finals campaign, I'd rather us beat the MCG. But given everything that the AFL has said to us over the course of the last few years, get your stadium to this size, hold this many people, it now holds 40,000. And when the circumstances are right, you can host a home final. Gold Coast is one of those teams. GWS is one of those teams. Not that we have a great history against Fremantle, but Fremantle is one of those teams. Now, we could play a few of those over the course of this final series. Potentially not any of those three, I should say. It's already been ruled out. So, fuck the AFL and Andrew Dillon and the horse he rode in on. That's enough of that. Geelong has broken its membership record, maybe part of the problem. We cannot fit enough people in the ground. We've got 91,000 members now. We've ticked over that milestone. Ben says the thumbnail's ready in the Google Drive. Maybe, Ben, while the show is on tonight, you can get off your ass and stick it on there, please, for me. That'd be great. But there's, 91,000 members, 40,000 seat stadium. Maybe there's the problem a little bit. But fuck the Gold Coast. We just need more seats. The government just needs to give us more money so we can get more seats. Simples. There's The total as of when this post initially went live on the club's website was 90,798 members that have, and it's continuing to grow. 89,000 more members than we have subscribers. That's a lot of opportunity for the Hoops Crew. A lot of people that could come through and subscribe to us, as well as being members at the club. So if you know someone who's a member and they are not a subscriber of the Hoops Crew, steal their phone out of their hand, press the subscribe button. Then while you're holding that phone, lean back and launch that prick a mile away because it's their stupid fault and they can now watch the Hoops Crew on their computer. That's that one. I'm rambling. I'm getting going on weird tangents. So I've got some of that energy tonight. I've missed a show. Got that energy tonight. Just stick it on the video, mate. Anyway, next up, Snoop Doggy Dogg, some dodgy Ben's AI work, is performing at the grand final. I couldn't give two shits about Snoop Dogg. If you're a fan of juiced up on hot tea. I couldn't care less about Snoop Dogg. If you're a Snoop Dogg fan, please, share your love of Snoop Dogg in the chat, but not for me. But apparently I saw somewhere on social media today that if you don't like Snoop Dogg performing, apparently you're racist. So go fig. I'm just not a fan of the music. There's lots of other awesome artists at the moment that both local and international I think we could have gotten. But Snoop just likes to get his bag, and he's going to get, fat stack of cash and enjoy lighting it all up, I'm sure. So good on him. Hopefully people enjoy the performance. I'll be turning it off at that time if I'm not at the ground myself. Problem I've got is it's my daughter's birthday on grand final day. Yeah. Bring back the Seekers, Ben says. The Australian game needs Australian entertainment. Here we go. You've triggered me here, Mark. The Living End, one of my favourite bands. Now, of course, I made the Linkin Park reference early on, but The Living End, one of my favourite bands, certainly my favourite Aussie band. They released an album the day before the grand final, on grand final day eve. Why can't we get one of Australia's current, ongoing, still biggest rock bands to get out there and play for the day? Come on. It's ridiculous. Anyway. Get Angry Anderson back. Now, where I saw a comment before, I need to quickly cycle back to it. Jackie says this show's going to go for 2 hours, isn't it? It won't. Right now, and I'm going to put this out here right now, my wife is out enjoying dinner with one of her best friends. So my kids are sleeping in the house unsupervised, more or less, at the moment. An hour is pretty safe. 2 hours is pushing my luck. So in case they come wandering out because I don't know, they have a nightmare or something. So get Green Day in. Done. Temper Trap just got back together. Take them. Shannon Nolan friends. Pushing it. No, I could deal with Knowlesy. Anyway, Snoop Dogg, get out of here. We don't need you. Our game is better off without you. All right. State of Origin seems like it's on track to return during the preseason next year. February, specifically, Britney Spears. I'm all for it. Look, I think the State of Origin these days is going to very much have a NBA. What am I looking for? All-Star Weekend sort of vibe. Then it's going to be bruise free. It's going to be very gentle tackles. No one's trying to hurt each other. Everyone wants to protect their chances to have a clean and easy run at the new season. I'm all for it returning, but I guess we all probably need to keep in mind that it's not going to be the State of Origin that we once knew, both in terms of what Lucas references here, South Australia versus Victoria. It's not that, so get it in the bin, he says, but also in the sense of it's not going to be people really bashing, crashing, and playing this hard. It's going to be pretty gentle. Aaron suggests Taylor Swift will be for the first night grand final. I mean, she's putting out an album a week or something after the grand final this year. She could just go up and play a single from it. People would be happy. I wouldn't be. I couldn't care less about Taylor Swift. I do like the goat meme that they use for her. The shrieking goat. for the geez, that's like 10 years old, that reference now. I'm getting old. And I say thankfully, no changes are being made to the father-son rule. There's been a little bit of noise and a few rumblings lately that potentially it might be gone or it's on its final days. Well, there's been no changes to it. I do think there are some changes in terms of the valuation, and this is more a bit like the academies. I think there needs to be more done to kind of balance the weighting of it. I still think Collingwood, the Western Bulldogs with the likes of Darcy and Dacos have, and Brisbane with the Ashcrofts, they've gotten those guys for too cheap, just like some of the clubs are getting their academy players for too cheap. You know, the fact that you can throw 3 or 4 picks in the 40s and suddenly get yourself pick 2 or pick 1 or pick 5 because no one in their right mind at pick 1 seems to be using it to make a bid on one of these gun players and flush out as many points as possible. Morons. Hey, Ben, I want you to reach out to Kel Toomey. I want to get Kel on the show. Not this live one, like we'll do a separate video. I want to get Kel Toomey on the show and I want to ask him why this continues to occur, why teams with pick 1 aren't making that bid on a Ashcroft or on a Dacos or on a Darcy, and instead they're slipping to 2nd, 3rd, 4th, pick in the draft, and these teams that are getting them for cheaper. It's insane. Shadou's just nailed it. Brisbane got away with murder lately. So anyway, so no change to the father-son. I do think both in terms of father-son academies, there needs to be a greater weighting placed on these players, like, or the points required to get your father-sons and your academy picks that high up. It's just, it's ridiculous. I think other clubs getting away with too much. All right, next up, it is time to get into match selection. And I need to fix up my screen because it's still all out of whack from sharing Mike Shinoda a moment ago. So let's quickly bring up our key screen here. Of course, it's not loading. Of course, it's not loading. Ah. Look, it'll appear here. You watch. Nah. Ben, we need to kill this platform. Let's try it again. I can see it there. I'm clicking on it. I hate StreamYard. It's not hard. It's a really simple platform. And it's a very simple function to share your screen, but it doesn't seem to want to do it. So we're going to try one last time. I'll go with a different mode. I'll share my window instead. See if that appears. It isn't. Hey, there we go. About time. We got there. It's never that bad. Ben says it's an operator issue. I'll smack him. All right. I hate that it's a window sharing thing now. Hang on. Now I've got to fix it up. And you watch it all fall apart again. There we go. We're back in action. It scales a bit better now. Lucas asks, how do you screen share? Not very well if you're using StreamYard. But we'll deal with that some other point. I'll happily give you some points and tips if you need, mate, because it's not too hard to use. It's just that the platform is unreliable for the most part. Anyway, Geelong and Sydney. Match selection has occurred. There are some changes. And for the Cats, Paddy Dangerfield, Jed Buse, and Jack Martin are in. Hashtag justice for Jed. But then we've obviously got Jack and Paddy Dangerfield in line to return. No outs yet. It is too early for that. Our game, of course, is Sunday. So stay tuned for some outs. Sydney, on the other hand, have got a few changes that are clearer and more readily available, simply due to some injuries. So Justin McInerney and Brodie Grundy are out. But the ins, Will Hayward, Peter Laddams, I would imagine they are the two obvious returns. But then William Green, Matt Roberts, and Corey Warner are all in. If William Green plays, it will be his debut this weekend. Look at how it's also like the AFL side is also wigging out. What is going on tonight? Like it just twitches. Look at it. My hands are here. It just twitches. Anyway, There's your team sheet. The bench at the moment for the Cats: Oisin Mullen, Jai Clark, Jed Buse, Brian Myers, Jack Bowes, Mitch Nevitt, Mark O'Connor, and Jack Martin. I'm going to infer from Wedge, and because often like your first four are your first four, and then things start to get a little bit funny from there. I'm going to infer from this Jed Buse is in. And perfect timing for roaming to drop a justice for Jed in there. I'm going to infer that Jed Buse is in, and this is starting to feel a bit like 2024, where he gets his charge at the very, very end of the season, and I'm all for it. Jed Buse is a gun. He is super valuable going into this final series. I think he's going to really prove his worth dealing with someone like a Tom Papley, and he's going to hold that spot for the remainder of the season, I believe. Justice for Jed. All right, continuing on though. The interchange, we've just gone through that. Emergencies, obviously we don't know yet. No milestones of any note within this game. Ben's saying Mitch Edwards debut next week. I mean, with Toby Conway out, who knows what's possible at this stage. But the injury list, unfortunately, we've got some injuries to discuss. And the big one that's been discussed by quite a few of you in the Discord over the course of the week that links in with what Ben was just talking about is that Toby Conway has injured his foot. Estimated return to be confirmed. I saw during the week, people said that Geelong, they've got the full complement. The list is 100% fit, and boom, as if to show everyone up, Toby Conway goes and gets himself injured again. I feel for the bloke. He's got so much potential. He's been showing some really great things in the VFL of late. And I just want to see him come good and get lots of game time at the AFL level. But I think, and I did a little bit of a taps the sign tweet this morning. This is a huge reminder that we, with Reece Stanley very close to the end, if this isn't the final season, we are then 12 months away from it. I'm confident of that. I think it's even more important that we go and get Rowan Marshall, given that he's probably going to leave because of Tom De Koning coming in, and Tom De Koning himself probably arriving, I should say. I don't want to get too definitive yet. I'm getting rid of this. It's twitching and it's shitting me. With the injury-riddled Toby Conway and then a lot of inexperience behind him, I think it's really important that we go and chase another ruckman. I know we haven't been big on chasing the ruck role over the years, but I think we have to. Luke says he'd rather TDK. No. TDK is just too... He's a beast, but I think he's just a bit too unreliable. Now, Shadu asked the question. It's a good hypothetical. What if the Saints don't get TDK? What if, right? Yeah. I don't know. I really haven't factored in. I haven't factored in the possibility. I haven't considered the possibility that he doesn't go there. That's how confident I am of it at this point. Because who's going to turn, like, very few people in this game are going to turn down 1.7 mil per year. But if he does, it'll be interesting. Brendan's just highlighted that Alex Dodson, someone who I would really hoped we would draft in the offseason, wasn't to be. But we got Jacob Mollier, and he's off to a pretty good start. Ben, I don't have the Hoops Crew coffee mug. Anyway, he says that Alex Dodson's going to be making his debut for the Saints this week. Maybe they're planning for the future a little bit. So many reports saying Marshall is filthy at the Saints. Yeah, and also we're now starting to hear the same about Cal Wilkie, Marcus Windhager. There's a whole lot of people that at the Saints are starting to apparently get a little bit disgruntled. Dodson Draft Watch was something else. It was. We were all on board. It was awesome. I miss it. Jacob Mollier's done pretty well, though, for us. I'm okay with it. Nasai Wanganeen Malira is off. Yeah, I think he's gone. It's too late in the season. Like, it's the same with TDK. Like, when you leave it this long, most of the time you're gone. One of the few exceptions I can think of was Dustin Martin, like 2017. Harley offer pissed a lot of people off at the Saints. Harley offered, because they offered like 2 mil or something, apparently. It was almost on average about 2 million per season for Harley Reid. He's not going to go there. Look, he's not going to go there because he wants to be part of a successful team. He'll stay for either big fat stacks of cash or he'll come to a Geelong or Hawthorn. I think that's where Harley Reid's at. Whether that's this year or not, I don't know. But I think that's the sort of headspace he's in. And I'm not saying it's necessarily a good one. It's I think a bit selfish in some respects. It's putting he's rating himself too highly and thinking he's deserving more than others. And also, there's no guarantees in this game, which makes it even dumber. But if we end up with a gun player, I won't complain. 25 mil for 12 years, yeah, about 2 million per season. Lucas says we'll be doing a watch along for this game against the Saints. Could be a rated MA plus show if we show signs of losing. Go check out Lucas's stream again. He's right there. We pinned it. Subscribe on YouTube. Go check it out. You'll be hoarse by the end of it. Good. So he might be calmed down by the time he jumps into post-game live with me. 25 million still won't be enough to go to the Saints. It's 100% right. But yeah, that's that situation anyway. So I think Rowan Marshall's going to come to the Cats. I don't think we're going to have to break the bank for him either. George Stevens will be the first $30 million man. Who knows? That's that one. Where are we? And beyond that, of course, Cam Guthrie is listed as a test. Ollie Henry, concussion protocol, should, I presume, be coming out of it this week. There's no suspensions, notable absentees. Obviously, it's experience now that we're really looking at. So it is your Cam Guthries, it is your Mitch Duncans, these your Jed Bews. But although I think he's actually going to get a game in the end, these sorts of guys are the ones to watch at this point and how Geelong chooses to use them going into a finals campaign, if they use them at all. But then you've got the likes of George Stevens, who are absolutely dominating at VFL level at the moment and just can't get the opportunities. Justice for George. He would be worth every penny, says Brendan. All right, let's continue on with the preview here, though, and get into everything else around the game, of course. What we need to know, what we care about, is that the game is now 2 days and 18 hours away, or just under 19 hours away, I should say. It is a 3:15 start on Sunday. Stay tuned for post-game live at 8 p.m. on the Sunday. And Aaron says that he would be surprised if Jack Henry plays. Chris Scott confirmed there'll be a VFL scratch match. Scotty did say people outside of the Cats are talking about Marshall more than those inside. Was a good presser today. Didn't buy into the Bailey questions. I actually haven't caught the press conference yet. Good to hear that he's just like, we don't need to give the Bailey Smith stuff oxygen. Okay, he might have himself a new girlfriend. Okay, he might have taken Tinder for a ride because he's got himself a new girlfriend and he's not going to be using Tinder, but he took the bag of cash. Good on him. Who cares, though? I'm really starting to bring a little bit of Tom Atkins energy to this one. I don't care about Bailey's off-field life. I care about the way he performs on the ground and the shape that he keeps himself in going into a finals campaign, and nothing else. So I'm really glad that Scotty's not giving it any oxygen. When it comes to Marshall, I'm also not surprised that he's saying that he's not that people aren't talking about it inside for the most part, because their job is to focus on a finals campaign. You've got a list management team. They will deal with it. Chris Scott will be part of those conversations without doubt. But you don't need to be, it doesn't need to be a conversation through the club, because then it puts people who are already on the list on edge. You've got Reece Stanley questioning his future because Rowan Marshall may or may not come in. The less you talk about it, the less oxygen you give it within the four walls of the club, the better, I think. Scotty absolutely hosed that cretin asking the Baz questions. I'm going to have to go watch this now. Sorry. Yeah, it's sorry, girlfriend, partner, fuck buddy, whoever it is that Bailey Smith is now seeing. But I should lose that. The only girlfriend Baz needs is at the end of September. No distractions until then, damn it. Friends with benefits minus the friendship. It's just benefits. Good on him. We should be talking about this more. No. Milestones, there's a few for the Swans. Lewis Melican's due to play his 100th. Nick Blakey's 150th. And as we mentioned before, William Green will be making his debut if he plays. Sports fan says Sunday's going to be a danger game. I didn't even scroll that. Why is it moving? Stop twitching. You haven't won there since 2020. Look, we haven't played there a huge number of times since 2020. They've been a pretty good team in the meantime. They're gettable, though, especially without Brodie Grundy. They're gettable. So we'll see how it goes. Scotty played out of Maiden before tea. Straight batted everything. Good. You love to see it. Let's talk about the recent form, and I'm going to get this off the screen because it is absolutely shitting me. You got my mug to deal with right now. Mug. Recent form. Geelong has 10 wins from their last 12 games. The Swans, 8 from their last 12. And everyone's been talking about it for a while. Geelong having a really soft run into finals. And is that going to be a good thing or a bad thing? Well, this is exactly the type of team we need to be playing right now. The Swans are playing finals football. They're not going to be playing in the finals, but they are playing finals football. And that is a fantastic tune-up. It's exactly what we need. So here's hoping we can get ourselves a win. The last time we played this mob, though, unfortunately, the Cats went down in that matchup to the tune of 30 points. That was round 14 in 2024. We got out the blocks really nicely. We kicked 5 goals, 2 to 3 behinds in the first quarter. And from that point, it was all the Swans. They won the second quarter, 33-9. They won the third quarter, 31-15. And they won the final term, 45-26. Geelong blew it badly. We started like a house on fire and fizzled out very, very quickly. So it was a very disappointing day, that one. I actually remember that one quite well now that we're talking about it. But we weren't up and about. We weren't firing. We didn't have a bloke that's on track maybe for 100 goals in the season. Things are a bit different for both clubs at the moment. So we'll see how it goes. But pretty confident I think we'll be okay. Not by much, but I think we'll be okay. The history between the two teams, there's been 232 matchups between the Cats and the Swans, with Geelong having won 55% of those games. The biggest home and away crowd between the two teams was 46,168 in 1997. The highest score by the Cats, 167. The biggest margin, 104 in 1976. And there's been some finals history between these two teams. We've played in 3 semi-finals against the Swans, 1914, 1934, and 2017. In terms of prelims, 1934 and 2016. And of course, the 2022 grand final, which is still living rent-free in Swans fans' minds. We smoked them. It was a good day. Let's keep trolling the Swans fans a little bit here. They're on a 4-game grand final losing streak, 2014, 16, 22, and 24. The last few have been some hidings as well. The biggest losing streak to Geelong is 8 games between 1940 and 1946. Ben's done a shit job. You're right, Lucas. There's a semi-final in there. Don't like talking about it, but there's a semi-final in there that he's not accounted for. We don't talk anything more about it. The biggest loss to Geelong. Where are we? The biggest loss to Geelong, 104 points, as we touched on earlier. 1976 was when that game occurred. The Cats 23 goals, 17, 155, beating South Melbourne as they were at the time, 6-15-51, winning by 104 points. The lowest score kicked by the Swans is, oh my God, their worst losing streak, 29 games between 1972 and 1973. That's woeful. Their lowest score in 1899 was 5 points in a matchup against Carlton. The highest score they conceded was against North Melbourne, where they gave away 229 points in 1993. But let's talk game breakers. Let's talk about what really counts when it comes to this game, is how it's going to be won for either team. The Swans' defensive unit is in pretty good shape right now. So I think it's going to be incredibly important that the Geelong forwards really get that connection and synergy going. And the delivery into them is just as good. I think, obviously, we got a little bit, I won't say lucky. We really were, in some respects, we were still unlucky to not win by 100 points against the Bombers, because it was only inaccuracy, really. But I would still say the synergy, the connection, the delivery from midfield into the forwards wasn't at the highest level that it could have been. And I think that's somewhere that we need to really improve, especially coming up against a pretty solid defense. But then we need to make sure that we're kind of squashing the midfield. They are going to be hurting a little bit in the absence of Brodie Grundy, because he's probably been the informed ruckman of the competition for the last 10 weeks now. And certainly going to make a serious case for All-Australian this year. But the midfield unit around them, like Laddams knows what he's doing. He can get the ball down. And those midfielders, they're in white-hot form. Heaney, what's his name? Oh, my God, why am I going blank on all their names? Heaney, Goulden, Warner. Like, they are stacked in that midfield, and they are playing pretty damn good football at the moment. So we need to be really careful. And it's where Glenn suggests that, maybe Mullen going to Heaney could be really important. So we'll see how that one goes. I think they are continuing to build Oisin Mullen up for some finals tagging roles. So this, whether it's a Heaney, whether it's a Warner, whether it's a Goulden, I think he will have a job on one of these guys, and I hope that he plays it really, really well. Gary, as always, doing a great job. Drop some likes on this video if you're live watching it now, or if you're watching it after the fact. Drop a like on this video. Get the word out there. It really, really helps. Keep on it, everyone. Thank you, Gary, as always, for that little bit of a reminder and shout out for everyone watching right now. Even if you're doing that on Facebook or Twitter right now, if you're watching live on either of those platforms, drop a like. It would be really huge in terms of our continued growth and our reach to get more people on board, build the platform up, and then provide more for you guys. For the Swans, I mean, I think on one hand, it's getting our connection right in the forward line. For them, it's all about the midfield. If they can deliver it well, because their forwards aren't as strong as ours, let's be honest. They've got some inexperience in there. They're a little bit more depleted. Some of them are coming back from injuries, like a Will Hayward. They're not in the greatest shape right now. So we want to be able to lock that one down. Shadu says he's not sure that he likes blitz forward. I think there's a horses for courses component to this. But, I mean, obviously his kicking's not fantastic. But the 3 tall thing, just to stretch some of the teams and give Jeremy Cameron more opportunity. I think the most important thing about Mark Blitzars being forward is the fact that the third tall defender or the mid-sized defender cannot afford to drift off him to go to Jeremy Cameron or to Shannon Neal, because Blitz is still really dangerous. Blitz is tall. Blitz is athletic. Blitz can mark. And if he has to, hopefully he's directly in front and 5 meters out, he can kick a goal too. So you can't afford to ignore someone of that talent, which makes it a bit easier for Jez, makes it a bit easier for Shannon Neal. I think his position in the forward line right now is really, really important to stretch those defenses, not because he's an absolute gun up that end of the ground, but because of what he does. It's just the assembly of the players. It's just the shape of it and what that does. I think it's really, really important. Whoa, Gary. It's the Hoops Cruise channel. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, get around us, please. Lots of likes. He needs to practice set shots. Absolutely. That's probably his big weakness. Good time to see Neil in the ruck. His craft is horrible up forward compared to Hawkins. Mate, he's not Tom Hawkins yet. Tom Hawkins didn't have it right at the same age. This was the year for Tom Hawkins where he clicked at the end of the season. Let me take a look at Tom Hawkins. Tom Hawkins, 2011. You are so harsh on him. And I'm talking about Shannon Neal, I should say. Season stats. Tom Hawkins in 2011. And think about the people delivering the ball to him. Our midfield was stronger than what it even is now. Tom Hawkins in 2011 from that's his number. From 18 games. Kicked. Just scrolling across. 27 goals, 17, Lucas. 27 goals, 17. Shannon Neal's already ahead of that. And he's played more games. So what's that? He's averaging, what, 1 point something per game, 27 over 18. That's 1.5 goals a game. Yeah, 1.5 goals a game. Shannon Neal's averaging more than that. And he's developing very, very nicely. And he's not getting the same level of silver platter service that Tom Hawkins once got from the likes of Stevie J, from Chappie, from Mitch Duncan, from Joel Selwood. The delivery inside 50 is just not the same. So please, Lucas, let's just dial back on Shannon Neal. He's not getting the same high-quality supply, and he's got a bloke in there that's close to kicking 100 that's sucking up a lot of oxygen. His 37 goals that he's on, thank you, Jackie and Amy, for dropping that number in there just so I didn't have to go digging for it, is hugely impressive. Please don't underrate it. Context is important, not just the stats. All right, so that's our match preview there. Cats predictions? Cats by 4 goals. Oh, Aaron's gone big. 700 goals by the end of his career. That'd be nice. I mean, he's probably got, what is he? So he's 23? So he might have 11 years if he, absolutely becomes the elite gun forward that we're looking for. You're talking about him kicking, 60 to 70 goals a year. I don't know that he'll do that, but I could see him being a 600 goal kicker comfortably. Not comfortably, but a 600 goal kicker. And I'd be stoked with that. Absolutely stoked with it. That's a fantastic career if you kick 600 plus by any metric. In any era, 600 goals is a great outcome. But I can see it, and I hope you're right. I absolutely hope you're right. 700 would be awesome. Shadu's saying Cats by 10 points. Lucas says, oh, I clicked on the wrong thing. New comment just came in. Cats by 8, says Lucas. And Mark says, I'm impressed with his chase down and closing speed when laying tackles. Yeah, I think he does a great job. He offers us so much more that Tom Hawkins couldn't. Everyone get in there and just call out Lucas. He's shit. He's got it all wrong. Love you, Lucas. Horatio says backing us by 20. So, yeah, we're about in sync there. Yeah, I'm saying 4 goals. Cats by 24 points. All right. Next up will be a look at the other games of the round. Horatio says Hell will take 400 from scratch. Yeah, I would too, actually. But I think he's capable of the 600. Aaron says SCG tax only got to breathe on a Swans play and they get freeze. Cats by 1 point. We're going to go around the grounds in a moment. But before we get to that point, let's take a word from our sponsor, Cyril Cook Florist.
The Hoops Crew Media Network is proudly sponsored by Cyril Cook Florist. Visit them at shop 1211 Leather Street in Breakwater. Phone them on 035 222 2244 or visit their website at www.cyrilcookflorist.com.au and use the offer code GOCATS in the voucher field at checkout to get 20% off your next online purchase.
Thank you, Cyril Cook Florist, as always, for your ongoing support of the Hoops Crew and all we get up to. Now, let's go around the grounds here and look at everything else that is to come this weekend. We've got 2 Friday night games because, of course, AFL. Why? Morons. Anyway, we've got a blockbuster here in Essendon and St Kilda. But for me and my work footy tipping competition, this is a hugely important game. This will be the one that has the margin on it. This is the one that I'm currently just sitting 18 points when it comes to margin behind the person in second. I get that bad boy right. I might just slip into first spot, but there's a very, very intriguing game going on that was actually delayed 15 minutes earlier today. The news came out that this game has been pushed back an extra 15 minutes between Fremantle and Brisbane. It's now an 8:45 p.m. Australian Eastern start. Freo, the favourites at the moment. Brisbane a little bit depleted when it comes to injuries. That's going to be a really fascinating matchup. We've then got, Ben's got his graphic. He's gonna have a little bit of a cry. He's going to have, there he is. He's having a cry. We'll look after little Benjamin. His little graphic. There we go. Gets my mug off the screen for a little bit. I don't like using it because there's always typos. Everyone spot the typo. I'm sure there's one here. Saturday, Gold Coast and the Giants play a matchup. That is also a really fascinating one for the shape of the finals, especially with everything going around. Can the Dogs make it? Well, I think this game has a fair bit to do with it, especially if GWS lose. Carlton and Port Adelaide play at Marvel. Hawthorn and Melbourne at the MCG. Adelaide and Collingwood, another important match on the Saturday night. Whilst on Sunday, North play Richmond. The aforementioned Swans and Cats game. And then the Bulldogs will beat the West Coast Eagles to the tune of 120 points. Hopefully miss out on the finals and will be the biggest of flat track bullies of all time. Marty the Boxer's popped in saying, please Freo win. Can't stand the Lions now. I would like to see Freo win this one. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I don't trust Freo though. I think the big thing for me is I don't trust Freo at the moment. They nearly blew it big time last weekend. They are not playing. Was it last weekend? Maybe the weekend before? I've lost track now of these matchups. No, the one against Port. They nearly blew it. They're not playing incredible football right now, but they're getting by. They do have a really great winning record at the moment. Ben thinks it's really it's huge. Like they're doing incredible things. They do. There he is. Don't sleep on Freo. He says, no, they'll put us to sleep. Their football is still pretty boring. Brisbane's untrustworthy. Lost the game against the Swans last week. They are getting increasingly depleted. I will put that out there. So we'll see. But we'll see. It's going to be interesting. So that is the round itself. Of course, there are some milestones that we can acknowledge this weekend. Some of those we've already discussed, but Zach Merritt from Essendon will be playing his 250th game. Nick Blakey, Liam Baker, and Peter Wright. Liam Baker also being the captain for West Coast this weekend is playing their. They're all playing their 150th. 100 games will be played for Lewis Melican, Michael Frederick, and Harry Petty, and Malcolm Roses will be playing game 50 this weekend. There's the VFL. I'll blow up to full screen again. Of course, we've got the VFL this weekend. Geelong will be playing Sydney Curtain Raiser just next door to the SCG. Sunday, 11:35 a.m. at Tramway Oval in Sydney. Stay tuned for that one. It's one of the few remaining games that the VFL team have. So stay tuned for that one and support the Cats. Keep a close eye on... I know they've won 10 out of their 11, but how impressively had they won them? Not that good. They'll put us all to sleep. Anyway, so go check out the VFL. There's not much of that season left, so get every opportunity. You want to see George Stevens in action. We want to see, your Mitch Duncans, your Cam Guthries, and what they can offer if they're required. That's the place to go see him. That's the pre-game to the Cats game on the Sunday. Saturday, though, thankfully, no clashes. I was ranting about this when it came to the VFLW, but the AFLW, it's being played right now. We do have, as I alluded to earlier, Carlton and Collingwood playing right now, and we will share those scores shortly. But the AFLW returns this weekend. Very excited to see the girls in action this Saturday, 3:35 at GMHBA against North Melbourne. If you can get down, you can get loud, make sure you're there, support the girls, and obviously, North are the reigning premiers, so we need every little bit of support behind them that we can possibly get, and hopefully we can bank ourselves a win. Cole says, playing finals at the MCG is basically like a home game for Geelong and arguably beneficial to grand final results. I don't know if you were here when I was kind of talking about it earlier. In that sense, I agree. But as someone who, I guess, supports the club who's had promises or commitments, I won't go as far as say promises, but there have been commitments made by the AFL. They've broken them. Essentially, they've broken them. Now, obviously, we might end up playing a Collingwood, at which point it'd be at the MCG, and I wouldn't argue through any lens. But there's a good chance we could be playing a Gold Coast or a GWS or a Fremantle, and those teams should be at GMHBA. Not that I, like the idea of playing at GMHBA against Freo. And again, I think we are playing better football, like you say, Cole. We're playing better football at the MCG than at home anyway, but it's more of a principle thing. That's the thing for me. It's a principle thing. There were commitments, there were agreements, there were terms reached around the stadium, and then the AFL's just pissed on us and told us it's raining. Fuckers. Yeah. No, I don't think there's been any specific reason. Certainly nothing that, they would have been given a reason, but nothing that's kind of emerged publicly yet. And yeah, I too, as an MCC member, want to be at the MCG, but that's a personal and a more selfish thing. And then also for the sake of team success, probably the MCG is the right way to go right now. But then, yeah, it's these agreements. I'm kind of torn on it. It's because the AFL's contracted to play 10 games at the MCG in finals. That doesn't work. There's only, there's 4 in the first weekend. There's 2 in the next. There's not even 10 games in the finals. And if that sort of thing, and Shadu, you've expanded on it a little bit. If that's still a thing, they've got to rip it up. Because, and look at the ladder at the moment. You think about the ladder right now, and it is dominated by non-Victorian teams. You've got Geelong, Collingwood, and Hawthorn. 5 of the 8, assuming right now also that the Dogs don't get in for a moment, 5 of the 8 are outside of Victoria. And of those, only one of them, as things stand, and that's Geelong, is actually going to get a home final. So it's just not possible, really. And thank you, Black and White United, a Collingwood supporter that I can agree with. Yeah, like it's one of those, one of those smaller audience teams. Gold Coast, GWS, Freo aren't a small fan base team, but they don't get the big numbers when they come to Victoria. I think they fit that as well. Every other team, MCG, that's fine. I would not argue if we had to play Adelaide at the G in a Geelong home, in a hypothetical Geelong home final, or Brisbane, or Hawthorn. I'm sure I've missed someone there. Adelaide, Brisbane, Collingwood, Fremantle. There's teams where this makes sense. There's others that don't. The AFL just wankers. Gold Coast should be at the Gabba. GWS the SCG. I don't know. I would say no to that. I would actually say Gold Coast should be at People First, and GWS should be at whatever their ground's called. I forgot the name. But yeah. Anyway. Must be, but Bussy's just popped in. Must be all that Geelong bias that's leading to this. You know how the AFL loves the Geelong Football Club and gives them everything except a home final when they earn one. Please, let's not get too carried away. Of course, we haven't earned the home final yet. We could blow it against Sydney or Richmond, at which point the chance of us getting the home final drop a bit. So let's not get too carried away. But hopefully, we bank these wins, and this conversation is still relevant. Anyway, we lost to Brisbane last year in a prelim at the MCG. Yeah, the guarantees is nothing. But I would like to, I just want it to be, I want it to be fair. I want it to be equitable. I want it to be what the clubs who have their own home ground are owed. The Melbourne teams get their home games in Melbourne. The Geelong-based teams play in Geelong. The GWS, Gold Coast, if you've got your own home deck, you should be allowed to play on your home deck. Tassie would get that privilege once they're in the competition, once they make finals. Shouldn't be any different to anyone else. Anyway, enough ranting about that. It's time to get into our next segment here. We're talking about Sam De Koning. And now first, Ben made a poll that asked the simple question, will Sam De Koning become an All-Australian before his career is over? And it was a very tight poll. This was when there were 78 votes. I did check, I think it was a couple of hours after that, and we're up to north of 100 votes at that point. And the split was fairly similar. Like, it was kind of close to 50-50. If someone's able to jump in and have a bit of a look now and provide me an updated number in the chat, that would be awesome. But it was essentially 50-50 in this conversation the other day. My confidence in what Sam De Koning can be has wobbled a bit lately, at least in terms of this season. His form's not fantastic. He's not really, he's struggling to find touch. And then you're starting to see the likes of Connor O'Sullivan start to come on board and really step up in a big, big way. I'm a bit worried about him. I think he's a fantastic player. I don't want to see him go to another club, but I think we thought the ceiling was much higher than especially off the back of 2022. We thought his ceiling was huge, and it does seem like maybe that we were wrong a little bit there. So he's a long way behind it. Where he was previously, and Lucas has just popped in and said just that. No, his best season was the Premiership year. He's miles behind that. I think he's got it in him still, but he's got I don't know. There's a dynamic thing, there's a structure thing, there's a maturity thing. I think all these things kind of come together to kind of impacting his football at the moment. But anyway, Sam De Koning, 54% of you, as of the time that Ben collected his screenshot, believe that he could be an All-Australian before his career is over. I said yes. I want to believe that he can reset himself and get himself into a really good place. He's also, in the last couple of years, had some inconsistent runs with, minor injuries that have kind of derailed his season on a few occasions. So if he gets a clean run at it, maybe we'll get the Sam De Koning of 2022, 2023 back. But right now, he's... Morty the Box has just popped in saying, he goes missing at times. He absolutely goes missing. Has Zach Guthrie or Jack Henry been an All-Australian? No. And to be fair, none of these guys, whether we're talking about these two or Sam De Koning, we don't need them to be All-Australians. And I'll be totally fine if they don't, if they are playing the exceptional football that they have been. Zach and Jack are playing some of the best football of their careers. Sam De Koning, I just wish could get back to that. He hasn't been the same since he broke his face. Yeah, I'd agree. All right, let's keep going though. Ben says, and there's the show notes that I'm reading off here. Ben says he would pay just to see him at the grand final after party with Snoop Dogg. Just some of those poses, some of those expressions on his face after we won the grand final in 2022 tell us that he might be able to party a bit. So he can party with Snoop Dogg. His nickname SDK and Dutchie. He's one of 10 siblings. 10 of them. Has Mitch Duncan been All-Australian? No. He's been unlucky, I think, in that case. But anyway. His original team growing up, the Dandenong Stingrays. He was picked 19 in the 2019 AFL draft, where his first two seasons were impacted by COVID. He debuted in round 5, 2021, and then over the course of 6 seasons now has played 8 games. He's played in 80 games. He's played in 3 finals and never lost in any of them. Keep him in the team, everyone. That's something I'll build my pitch around. He's kicked 6 AFL goals now. Of course, his first was in that 2022 grand final. And accolades-wise, not many yet. He's still early in his career. He was runner-up in the Rising Star of 2022, but won the AFL, was a part of the winning AFL Premiership team in 2022. His career highs for any given match. Disposal-wise, 25 disposals. He's kicked 2 goals in a game before, laid 6 tackles, taken 9 marks, gotten 31 hitouts. I love that Ben makes these notes. There's been 34 poor woe is me moments. A few Suki La La moments from Sam De Koning. 34 of them in any given game, apparently, according to Ben. He's contracted till the end of 2027, and hopefully that gives him the time to find the form that we all hope he's capable of finding once again. But he wears the number 16, and there's been a few pretty significant players who've worn it over the years. Billy Brownless, of course, is one of the chief among those. 198 games, 441 goals. Rod Blake played 176. Tommy Quinn, 168 games and 2 premierships. Les Smith, 123 games and a premiership. John Hyde, 108 games and 2 premierships. And there have been a few other notable players as well, from Charlie Gardner to Scott Selwood, Jason Mooney and Dawson Simpson, all donning the number 16 in the last 20 years or so. Let's see what the comments are saying here. Black and White and United and Shadoo, they're popping off back and forth. What have we got? Staying Geelong and along the beach. Why would you stay in the city? There's protests, expensive parking, and lots of other rubbish. Geelong's way better for a weekend away. You're a star, mate. Are you sure you're not really wearing the blue and white right now? Like, you're putting up a little bit of a facade here. You're also probably not tuning into the girls' game because your team's getting absolutely pantsed right now. So come and join us. We win. We win lots in the AFL. And we win lots in the AFLW. We haven't won a flag yet, but we're winning more than we lose these days. So Geelong pubs are elite, he says. Yeah, there's some good stuff. Again, thank you to everyone who came to Little Creatures for the community meet and greet before the Port Adelaide game the other week as well. All right, that is the Sam De Koning profile done. Let's get into Q&A. But while we do that, sorry, I'm going to have to flick back to the screen sharing thing, but then I've still got the fixture here, so I need to get rid of that graphic for a moment. We're going to quickly bring up the scores from the girls' game that's being played as we speak. Let's flick across to that and just keep a close eye on what's going there. 16 minutes gone in the final term. The Blues leading by 24 points. It's been a bit of a procession since quarter time. And honestly, I watched the first quarter before coming in here. The Blues were playing much better football then too. It was just some inaccuracy and some early goals on the board from the Pies that gave them a margin. But since then, the Blues have played some fantastic football from the look of it. Jackie asks, do we get a women's profile next week? Bianca could do one. I like it. Brendan, are you there? Brendan, just let me know if you're there. I wonder if leading into the Paul James show next week. I don't know if you're listening. So please, someone like shout at Brendan. Just like, Brendan, if you're there, comment. But would you, and I'm working this out on the spot, would you and Bianca want to sit down, and Declan too if you want, but get Bianca on board to sit, pre-record a little, as we said here, like a women's profile for next week. If I get that pre-recorded video, I will build it into this and I'll throw to it like a segment. Like how I was using Nuff of the Week earlier in the year as a part of this show, I will just throw to that video and we'll all get to celebrate how awesome your kids are. Not so much you, but your kids. So let me know if you're keen on that. And if not, if you've missed this message, I'm sure I'll probably hear from you guys during Postgame Live on Sunday, and we'll discuss it again there. But I think that would be a really cool idea. So good one, Jackie, for bringing that one up. I think that could be really, really cool. I'll build it into the show happily. I think that would be absolutely awesome. But for now, let's keep going with the show. Throw your ideas at me. Ben's given me a large number of Q&A prompts that I can work with tonight. But I don't want, like I said, my kids are sleeping right now. My wife is not home. So I need to keep it briefish at this particular point and get inside. I've also got myself an acclaimed Xbox 360 game that's just that's about to come to PS5 that I can play. Start your chainsaws, everyone. Lucas, you probably just worked out what I'm talking about, but I'm not allowed to disclose what that game is. Can Nuff of the Week be Cricket Australia CEO for saying Test cricket doesn't need to be played with all nations? I'm going to keep it football related, but that is stupid commentary. So anyway, Shadu asked who misses the 8. I'm going to say the Dogs. The Dogs look like in the eyes of many, they look like they're going to pile over the top of someone. I just think they're going to screw something up. I don't trust the Dogs. It's not Lollipop Chainsaw. A big, popular Xbox brand. Probably the next most popular Xbox brand after Halo. I've already said too much. I'm not saying any more, and I'm not going to confirm or deny once you name the game. But anyway, who missed the 8? Yeah, I think the Dogs. I've been hearing about Alien Earth, Bussy. Go enjoy. I've been hearing it's really, really good. Q&A, let's throw a few prompts out there and get your thoughts really quickly, and I'll kind of toss mine in as well. Is it over for Collingwood if they lose to Adelaide? No. But it's getting very dire. Can Brisbane bounce back? They need to get their players right. The Dogs only have to beat Freo at Docklands in the last round to get in. Mate. Oh yeah, I suppose you're gonna talk Call of Duty. No. It comes out before the end of this month, the game I'm talking about. Anyway. Come on, Lucas. Think. And I have used the game. I have discussed the game for the game of the show in the past. The original trailer for the game is one of the most iconic video game trailers of all time. Jared's thrown an idea out there, and I'm neither confirming nor denying. Are the Dockers genuine contenders? Ben says no. I don't believe that they're genuine contenders at all. But it'd be nice, like if Geelong doesn't win, I'd be okay with seeing Freo do it, especially for Nat Fyfe, given he's retired this week. And congratulations to him on his retirement this week as well. Can Carlton break their Marvel Stadium curse? They've lost the last 6 straight home games. Who are they playing again? Who did we say they're playing again? I've already forgotten. They're playing Port Adelaide. Oh, maybe. I don't say it with any conviction. We'll say yes. I'll say yes, they're going to get the win. But geez, I'm not sure. I'm not confident, and I need to think about that for my footy tipping this weekend. Jeez. So is Tyson Stengel about to ignite? Ben asks. Yeah, he just needs to kick straight. He's already ignited. He just can't kick straight at the moment. Will we see Cam Guthrie and Mitch Duncan again? No. And I definitely want to hear people's thoughts about these two. Will we see Cam Guthrie or Mitch Duncan again before the season's out? For me, the answer is no. Will we see Danger do stints in the middle this weekend? Do we risk it? Yeah, I think he will. I think he'll drift in and out. And yeah, Shadu expands properly on that. Yeah, no, just the VFL. I'd agree. Should Geelong roll the dice on Jack Henry's hamstring? If there's any doubt, the answer is going to be no, but we know what the club is like with these. If there is any doubt, they will say no. I trust that they will do the right thing. So we'll just see what happens there. And honestly, if there was a week for us to be down a key forward, it's probably this week because Sydney don't really have any right now. Could Hawthorn miss the finals with 15 wins? There's a lot of teams that could miss the finals with 15 wins. Is Jack Henry playing this week? Hughes has been recalled. I mean, they're not like for like, but yeah, there's some merit in that. Why are we talking about James Bond First Light? Don't tell me there's just been a drop, like some news drop. This just added 10 minutes to the show if there's something here. Let me have a look. The first thing I see is a screenshot of a book that I've written for. Oh, and then I scrolled through Twitter and saw myself live streaming. That's good fun. It appears not. Stay tuned. Big showcase next week. Summer Games. Sorry, not Summer Games. It's Gamescom. Yeah, no, I'm not seeing it. Okay. Oh, you're just talking about what? Are you trying to tell me there's been a new trailer drop while the show's been on? Are you talking about the original trailer from a couple months back? Announcement trailer. There's no new one. Oh, maybe you're talking about when I put the original trailer out. Right. Justice for Jed Horatio says, anyway, I'm getting distracted by game stuff and I haven't even gotten to game of the show yet. I haven't even worked out what it is. So let's push on here. Let's get back to our prompts. Where did they go? There we are. Will Mitch Duncan finish his career as an Eagle? I'm going to say no. I think he's going to retire as a player. I know there's some interest being shown. I think he'll finish as a player, as a Cat. I don't think he'll actually don a suit up for a team. I think he'll be done. I don't think this is a Luke Hodge situation. I think he might go back home and he might do a bunch of work with the Eagles in a coaching capacity or a development capacity, but I don't see him playing. Ben asks, chat. Ben's final prompt here for us. And I definitely want to hear your thoughts on this one. And I don't care if you're on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section here. Would you rather have the 2008 Premiership or the 2009, 11, and 22 Premierships combined? I want to hear. Now, I, for one, say, give me 09, 11, and 22 instantly. But the heartbreak around the whole thing is like there's an emotional response to that grand final for a lot of us. So for me, it's easy. We lose 2008 and I take all the rest. But I'm curious to see how much it stings. If there's anyone. Combined 3 is better than 1. The math does not lie. We take the heartbreak. Yeah, good. Good. Everyone's got good heads on their shoulders. What about? Yeah, no. Actually, I think it's just a simple numbers game. Yeah, it's that simple. All right, I need to find a game of the show. I need to work something out on the spot because I didn't get that organized before the show started. I'll hang my head in shame. I've got some ideas though. I just need to go and pull the trailer that I need. Just need to find it here. Chat amongst yourselves in the meantime. Have a good time, everyone. Where's it gone? Nearly there. Oh, it's got licensed music. I can't use that one. Damn it. Oh, I know what I'm doing a little bit of shameless promotion here. I'm doing some shameless promotion because I reviewed a game in the last few days, and I'm going to get you to learn a little bit about it while we chat here. It's not a very great game in the end, but please go check out my review on the Player 2 website. No, I didn't review Rugby 26, Lucas, but please go check out our website. We do have a review there. I've told you all before that I'm friends with Ross Simmons, the CEO of Big Ant Studios, the ones who make the AFL games and the Rugby League 26 game. I got a very upset DM from him about our review of of our review of Rugby 26. It's tested the relationship a little bit, but he also knows that I am not a rugby guy, so I have no stake in this one. Anyway, played like a demo. It's awful. All reports, it's absolutely awful. The rugby players themselves are dunking on it, so it's clearly shit. All right, let's bring up Drag and Drive. It's a very unique sports game from Nintendo, coming to Nintendo Switch 2 this week. Let's check it out. That is Drag and Drive. The game is out now. It costs $30 on Switch 2, and it's about as mediocre as they come, if I'm being perfectly honest. But it is something I've been spending a bit of time playing this week. Shout out to Nintendo, who gave me the opportunity to preview it online before the game came out. But Nintendo very rarely misses, but this is a miss. But I'll shamelessly drop the review in the comments because it's worth seeing the concerns yourself. Just drop that in the comment section for everyone if you need a link. It's a big L, that one. And apparently that then got posted twice to Facebook. Go figure. Anyway, that is our game of the show. That is the end of our show tonight. Thank you all for having tuned in. As always, looking forward to chatting to all of you through Post-Game Live on Sunday night. We're looking to get started at 8 o'clock. And who knows how long we go for. It'll be a good time. What are we saying what for? What? Oh, I don't understand what's going on. Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Thank you all for having tuned in. As always, it's been an absolute pleasure. Make sure to join Lucas on the Geelong Zone YouTube channel for a live watch along of the Swans and the Cats game. Hopefully, he's got plenty to celebrate. If he doesn't, we look forward to seeing Darth Lucas return during post-game live a little bit later on. Who knows how long it'll go for? I will just stress now, We've got a Sunday night show. I have an 8:15 meeting that I have to attend the next day. So we're not going for 4+ hours, pushing it to midnight and getting ridiculous with it, but we'll go for a good long while. It's going to be a long show. I have no doubt about it. So looking forward to chatting to all of you then. Look forward to doing it all again with the Paul James Show then again on Monday night. I don't think Ben is back, so I think I'll just take it. I think there was talk of a bit of a trade, but I don't think he's returned to Victoria by that point. So it'll be me back-to-back nights. Maybe you can take the Thursday night off me. It'll be a good teamly thing to do. But if you've enjoyed this, make sure to check out Postgame Live on Sunday night, the Paul James Show on Monday. The Chaps Chat Cats will do their review of the Geelong and Sydney game on Tuesday. There'll be my breakout review of the game, the match reaction you can check out on Monday morning as well for far more considered, less off the cuff, less ranty and ravey thoughts. That's where you'll find them. Ben does plenty as well. I don't know what it is, but he says he's doing a lot. Make sure to check us all out on socials. That's at the Hoops Crew. Myself is Paul James Games. Check out our Patreon. Patreon.com/the Hoops Crew is where you'll get early access, extended and exclusive content. It only costs $5 a month to get all of that delivered to your email inbox. And there's a 7-day free trial for you to check everything out as well. We are already starting to make big plans for post-season stuff. Obviously, the AFLW is now underway, so expect to see more there. And in particular, Chaps do an amazing job with their coverage of the women's game. So stay tuned for all of that stuff. I'm planning streams in the postseason, a lot of video game stuff. And I will say, I think I mentioned the other day, I've got a Ninja Turtles game. And that will be one of the first games that we stream and have a bit of fun with. So what do we got here? YOLO, you only live once. Better the 10 minutes Ben was last week. Pathetic. Why are we super chatting $10? Oh, has Ben done something? Why are we super chatting $10? Oh, was this his text about... He sent me a text about getting the dogs. Yeah, need this ad to get out of the way. Oh, he's got a super chat goal. Super chat goal. Paul will get the dogs on the stream. Well, we'll see what happens. If someone drops $10 before we wrap this one up, I'll quickly go get the dogs. Luke's with his watch-alongs for cricket. Yeah, we'll definitely do some cricket-related streams. Absolutely. I'm looking forward to kind of keeping the engagement with you guys in the community going in the off-season. I think that's really important for all of us to be able to chat footy and kind of pick each other's brains, to discuss the game, to share in off-topic things like cricket, video games, or whatever it is that you might want to discuss. I'm really keen to engage with all of you in that off-season period as well. So we'll keep planning this stuff. Looking forward to chatting, though, all things football beginning on Sunday. Stay tuned for my video tomorrow, which is me ranting and raving again about the MCG, the GMHBA, the final situation, the Cats being deprived of the opportunity to play on their home deck despite big promises from the AFL. But that is where we're going to wrap things up. There's no sneaky super chat. So we're going to finish things here. Thank you all for watching as always. Remain Geelong strong, and I'll see you later.